Hey guys, Kiwi Bloke here again. Just want to give you a quick update on where I'm at with my baccy this season. We're 2026 February, end of February. Got a bit of a drizzly day today. The tobacco's all soft out here, so I'll just flick it around and show. We got tobacco in all different stages. I also have different types of tobacco this year. Got 3-4 different types. We're coming in green. Then they're following off to fading down to their yellow, and then they get closer to the breeze here in the window, and we're drying up to brown. Once they get pretty dry and it's just the stems to go, I'm hanging them over the back here by the hot roller door and that finishes them off nicely. But what we're doing today, guys, is I have pulled some bags of tobacco out of my fermenting chamber. Sorry guys, lost it there for a minute. Fermenting chamber. You can see this in my other videos. It's just basically a chamber that's made to sit at 50 degrees. Got a sensor set up and everything here. Put water in the bottom. Chuck my bags in this basket, which sits up off the bottom of the pot. Sweats them in there. The whole procedure's on one of my other videos. You'll have to look that up. But where we're at today is bags have come out of there, and we tip them out on the table here to, I know these look green, guys, but they're actually more brown than green, and I know that by the time this stuff gets to the smoking stage, it's all gone nice and brown, so we're happy with that. Over here we've got another variety. This is a golden burley. Nice golden burley, I use that every year. Big leaves, good yield, good for making up your quantity. It cures down to kind of a medium tobacco in flavour. This is a new one this year for me. Very similar to one I've done before, but it's a different strain. I couldn't even tell you what it is. I think it's going to be about a mid to kind of in that top end of the strength scenario. Okay, so what we've done is we take these bags out of the fermenter, tip them out on the table here, and I let all the excess moisture dissipate out of them so that they're just like this. You know, this is perfect, like tissue paper. Once I spread them out on the table here and leave them overnight, once they've been in the fermenter, they won't, you'd have to leave them for a whole week if you expected them to go crinkle dry. And part of the reason for that is before I put them in the fermenter, and you can look up my process, I make up my concoction of spray into a bottle just like that. And what I do is I mix whatever, say you're doing a cup, right? I'd do quarter of a cup, quarter of my mixture in. This is homebrew alcohol, still at your general alcohol percentages on the shelf. This is just a homebrewed version I get through a mate. You could buy yourself a little miniature bottles of alcohol or a hip flask of alcohol. I tend to stick to bourbons and rums, and I have another buddy who gets me this kind of this is vape flavouring. So I'm quite fortunate to have access to that. This is a, what does it say, Jamaican rum flavour. Yeah, it's a bit of a rum flavour. I would say it's more of a caramel kind of flavour really, but whatever. If you can't get your hands on something like this, which has already got a bit of flavour and stuff in it, which is good for mixing on your back, if you can't get your hands on an easy solution like that, you can go online and look up this stuff, Aroma, and it's supposed to be a tobacco spray that you put on to help flavour your tobacco and stuff like that if you've already got tobacco. I would say it gives it more of an aroma, like it says, rather than a flavour, but it does do something to the experience. And you can see in here it's got water, flavouring and glycol, which glycol is just a glycerine. It's a natural extract That's what helps soften the tobacco. Okay, so when I make up my mixture, I basically go with that same concept: water, flavouring, glycol. Also add alcohol, which is a good mold inhibitor, and it helps everything absorb into the leaf structure, I think. So it's definitely beneficial to have a quarter of your mixture of alcohol. Any type of alcohol will be fine. Like I say, if you can't, this has got everything you need in it. All you got to do, these are small tubes, and for me I'd add about half of this tube as my quarter of my flavouring, etc. And so I'd do quarter of my mixture of this, quarter of water, and quarter of alcohol. And don't know how that adds up, but that's how it goes. Failing all of those scenarios for flavouring mixtures, you can buy this glycerol in the chemist for $12, and you only need half a dozen, or say like half a teaspoon at a time. So this little bottle actually lasts you quite a lot. So each mixture, and you say in a cup full of spray, in a cup full of your solution here, sorry, you would put half a teaspoon of this glycerol mix. Okay, so get a cup, quarter alcohol, quarter flavouring, whatever you want to do, which is quite a lot in regards to the flavouring. You can the alcohol will have some flavouring, but not as much as you'd expect. You might want to go to a brewing shop and get some alcohol flavourings. They are definitely going to be better than a food flavouring, better quality. Okay, so that's just a quick muddled up way that I make my solution, and I've got some mixed up. Got some mixed up over here in a spray bottle, and I will just spray it over these leaves once they're dry. Spray it, mix it up, spray it so that your leaves go back to sort of like that damp supple, not soaking, but you just want to keep them at this supple, and just leave it for a day. Go through, put some more spray on it, leave it for a day until your tobacco, actually you come in after a couple of days and it smells nice, it feels nice, and then I'm going to shred it once it gets to a good texture. Don't put sugars in your spray mixtures, guys, because it's kind of carcinogenic at the smoking point. You know, those sugars sitting on the outside of the leaf. You want to use the alcohol and the oil and the liquid solutions so they soak into the leaf rather than sitting on the surface. Okay, so those are some tips. If you find that your tobacco's a bit sticky, because maybe you did put in some honey or something like that that seems to be sitting on the surface, chuck it back in your fermenting chamber for a day. It all seems to solve the situation, and then it's just a matter of letting it dry out to the right texture for shredding, and I'll just shred it back onto this table and let it sit in the open air. While we're at this time of the year anyway, it's not too hot and dry, and it's not too constantly wet where mold can grow, so I'll leave it out as long as I can to let it keep absorbing the moisture out of the atmosphere and drying out again, and absorbing the moisture and drying out again, and it's just the continuation of the fermenting process. And once it's shredded, it seems to move that process along a little bit quicker. And I will mix these tobaccos together once they're shredded into a big pile here, and just let it start to homogenize and get all beautiful. And I would leave it for about a month actually before I even did a test smoke on it, just to let everything mull and settle down and smooth out. And then I'll start test smoking. I'll shred a little bit and test it. Other than that, I'll just continue on with that process until I'm happy with the smoke. Long-term storage, I try to do batches this size, so I'll end up with you know, 2 of these bags full of shredded tobacco, and that's about all I'll have in tobacco at any one time. I will leave my leaves in boxes like there, and keep them in the house so they don't mold or anything. And as I want to do the tobacco, like once I get through one bag of shredded tobacco and I'm down to my last bag, I'll do another batch like this the same way that I have, and I just keep it moving through like that. Tobacco sitting around shredded in any form, I don't reckon you've got any more than 6 months before you're starting to get mold. So if you want to be having tobacco that lasts you a year or more, you're going to want to do it in batches like this, just to guarantee that you're not going to have mold produced in your finished product. That's my update for today, guys. Hope that helped. Hope you enjoy it. Catch you later.